The Minnesota Vikings have made a massive trade to acquire Cam Robinson from the Jacksonville Jaguars, the star left tackle who ultimately is going to be replacing Christian Darrisaw this season and to start likely next season as well. We're going to be talking about this trade, what this means for the Minnesota Vikings, everything that went down, and what we know so far with this trade. And without any further ado, let's get straight into the video. The Vikings have made this massive trade, and obviously this is a very, very big one that we've all been kind of expecting the Vikings to make. Acquiring a left tackle was, I think, one of the top priorities as soon as Darrisaw went down and was ultimately ruled out for the end of the season, for the rest of the season, with that ACL tear. We knew that we needed to make this offensive line better with the absence of our best offensive lineman, no doubt. We had Dalton Risner coming back ultimately and everything like that, but that was not going to be enough to fill the massive hole that was left from Christian Darrisaw. So this came out moments ago from Ian Rappaport. Trade. The Vikings are adding new left tackle, completing a trade with the Jaguars to acquire Cam Robinson in exchange for draft pick compensation per me and Tom Pelissero, an answer with Christian Darrisaw out for the season. And an answer indeed. Cam Robinson, a very, very good left tackle, starter quality. Very rare you see one of these guys become available via trade in the regular season at any point in the season at the end of the day. And the Vikings have made a big move here to obviously go and still keep their playoff hopes alive, their season alive realistically, with Sam Darnold there and protecting him in the pocket. And Cam Robinson will be the guy to do that now. Now, looking at what we have, well, here from as well from Ian Rappaport, really does a starting left tackle quality player become available mid-season, but that's the case with Cam Robinson. 91 starts, the franchise tag player, an impressive answer for the Vikings. So this is a major, major move for the Vikings, obviously in response to this whole brutal injury to Christian Darrisaw. We hope he returns well, hope he returns as soon as possible, fully healthy, but the Vikings needed to make a move, and that was quite obvious. They had Trey Smith in the options. DJ Humphrey's a free agent who I mentioned in a video an hour ago. A pretty good timing, but this is probably one of the best options the Vikings could have done. Trey Smith was obviously one of the great ones there as well, 25 years old from the Chiefs, but Cam Robinson as well, a starting left tackle who will be making waves as soon as he gets into the Minnesota system, especially with joining a pretty good offensive line, a few veterans there, Kevin O'Connell, the defense as well. It has a great group of guys who will welcome anybody into this locker room, no matter what position. So having Cam Robinson come in here is going to be a major boost for the rest of the season. And looking at his PFF grades as well, a very, very good look so far, at least. All above average by quite a bit, actually, and pretty mediocre in the rankings, but ultimately, that's not what we're hoping for. We weren't looking for number one players. We weren't looking for number two. We were looking for someone who can come in here, protect Sam Darnold, let Aaron Jones get open. All of these types of things that will help out this team, even just the slightest bit more than it would have after ultimately what would have been the offensive line before the injury. And Cam Robinson will be one of the best guys to replace Christian Darrisaw. And I'm very excited to see this move. Now, when we're looking at all of this stuff as well, we know that when this is coming into the rest of the season, we still do have a lot of games to go and a lot of tough games that will be going out. So it was a likely option that the Vikings were going to add at least another offensive lineman, whether that be starter or whether that be backup, just to at least add depth to this team. If we had gone down another offensive lineman, the Vikings would be in a very, very troubling spot. And adding Cam Robinson early, and likely what will be our starter now against the Colts Week 9 Sunday Night Football, we have that option now and the freedom to go out and do what we're going to do. And more moves are likely going to come. As Kwesi said, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to be busy at this deadline. It would not surprise me if they add another depth offensive lineman, as they did earlier today, signing a undrafted free agent from the Ravens practice squad, 2-hour practice squad. Just another move to show that the depth is what they're going to need. And especially with a few things moving around, we still don't know if we're going to see what is that, Blake Brandel moving over, and obviously that likely is out the window now with Cam Robinson coming in, Dalton Risner coming back, whether that means Ed Ingram is in or out. There's still many, many decisions that the Vikings have to make sure everything goes well. And we know that this move is just going to be pretty much a one-for-one replacement. However, there still is a lot of things that the Vikings do need to consider. And looking here at Cam Robinson, 29 years old, just turning 29 on October 9th, 7 years experience. Former second round, pretty much a first rounder when it comes down to it, but he's going to be a talented player, and I think that's no doubt. And definitely having him adding to this season is a big part of it, but not just this season. We know that there's a chance, and likely will be probably about half the season, that we're not going to see Christian Darrisaw next season, at the beginning of it at least. And whether that means Cam Robinson will be signing an extension with the Vikings, whether the Vikings choose to go a different route, is still very early to tell. But the fact that we have this franchise tagged left tackle coming from the Jaguars and Cam Robinson, the Vikings have a few options to make. And as you can see here, making $16 million right now, just a base salary, but a UFA next year. So whether that means it's going to be him, someone else, David Quessenberry, whoever it may be, or whether the Vikings try and go him and potentially move him around on this offensive line, could be a very interesting thing. And that's obviously something that the Vikings are going to have to consider. Not yet now. The focus is still on this season, still on making the playoffs, still on having the best season they can in what was supposed to be a rebuild season, and still is a rebuild season. So this is going to be a good opportunity to see if we maybe can move Cam Robinson around this offensive line. Now, we know Garrett Bradbury is not going to move unless it's an injury. Brian O'Neill's not going to move. Darrisaw would not have moved. However, now Cam Robinson here. We still have Brandel, Dalton Reisner, and Ed Ingram, all of which can really move around on this offensive line. So this is a very big move for the Vikings, knowing that we can and do have the freedom to try and experiment with a few things. But the main priority was filling that spot for Christian Darrisaw and having his skill set replaced as much as you can. And as I mentioned in the last video, you're not replacing Christian Darrisaw. That's very, very tough to do. You would need multiple players to add up to his skill level, or some of the best offensive linemen in the league. We mentioned there was Trey Smith, David Bakhtiari, DJ Humphries, many other players that could have filled in this role. DJ Humphries was listed as the best option available and readily available if they were to go out and just try to make a move without trade. Now, Cam Robinson, filling in on this left side. This is a very big move that nobody expected. We didn't know Cam Robinson was available. The Vikings, to me, really seemed like this move was going out and calling everybody, seeing who was available, seeing who could possibly be moved, and this is a very, very big. So looking at what we have here in return, or I guess in exchange for Cam Robinson, is a draft pick compensation. We still don't know what one right now. If I were to guess, it'd maybe be a third or a second or a few picks, adding up to whatever value the Jaguars wanted. But ultimately, realistically, the Vikings could not really afford to go out with another offensive lineman, going with anybody else. This is a very, very good move to get that starting left tackle back. Having him there, potentially adding more depth, is going to transform this offensive line to what was a very good one to something that could have been quite a bit scary, back up to a very hopeful offensive line to free up Sam Darnold in the pocket, let Aaron Jones get through the middle, whatever they want to do. Cam Robinson will be a great addition for it. So be sure to hit the sub button, join the channel. We're going to be covering everything Vikings here. We'll be keeping you guys updated with any more that we have from this, any more trades, any more decisions that will come out of this before week 9 against the Colts, before we see anything else happen. And hopefully we have no more injuries, but we've seen Kwesi's going to be busy here. He wants to go out and get some more. He wants to trade that first-round pick, and hopefully this will secure this pick to be a little bit less in the first round, but still we get a great player in return if things do play out. So that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. I'm signing out. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.